in charge of Nathaniel Holland from the FBI Las Vegas division. The FBI routinely offers assistance to our law enforcement partners to provide additional manpower and specialized resources in multiple ways. The FBI will not stand idly by and allow criminals to launch intrusive cyber attacks on our state offices. We're committed to working with our public and private sector partners to stop computer intrusions and prevent further harm. While our standard practice is to decline comment on information we may share with our partners, the FBI continuously collects intelligence about potential threats and shares information with our law enforcement partners to assist in protecting the communities we all serve. The FBI is charged with defending the U.S. against a full range of cyber crimes, including threats from hackers for hire, organized crime cyber syndicates, and state-sponsored malicious cyber actors. Over the past decade, cyber attacks have escalated in scale and impact. Investigating cyber actors often take numerous tips from the public to provide an aggregate amount of detail to identify the criminal actor. If anyone has any tips, please call 1-800-CALL-FBI or contact us at tips.fbi.gov. Thank you.
Okay. And this is Ryan Cherry, Chief of Staff for Governor Lombardo. I want to start my remarks by thanking, expressing how proud I am of our state employees, the men and women in this room with us, and the state employees who are working tirelessly in the efforts to help us address the ongoing efforts that have been resulted from the cyber incident. If there's a silver lining that Nevadans should see in this, is that they can rest a little bit easier knowing that the hardworking public service in the Governor's Technology Office, the executive branch agencies, constitutional offices, and our federal partners are working tirelessly to get us through this, and a concerted effort that is greatly appreciated and almost seamless from my perspective. I wanted to go on underneath Governor Lombardo's direction. We had, at the outset of this, when we knew this would become an issue, it was to address the customer-facing portions of state government. So you heard from agencies in this press conference what we're doing to make sure that we are providing services despite the current situation. What I will do is also focus on what has been done for state employees and for constituents outside of it. So I'm proud to say that through the tireless efforts of many of those in the executive branch, that payroll for state employees was processed today for pay period 5. Those dates range from August 4th to August 17th. Direct payments are currently starting to hit employee accounts, and any paper checks that were needed to be cut have already been picked up, or are ready to be picked up, or have already been collected by agency pay clerks. We also have a distribution deadline of next Tuesday for the Pupil-Centered Funding Plan, which provides the education funding to local education partners. We were able to manually process allocations for the Pupil-Centered Funding Plan, and payments to school districts, charter schools, counties, and cities were submitted for approval today. Tomorrow, the Treasurer's Office should be able to transmit those, and recipient accounts should see them next Tuesday before the deadline. As it relates to state infrastructure, we've seen market improvement in the availability and restoration of reestablishment of network connectivity through GTO's efforts. Governor's office was able to start taking constituent inquiries this afternoon, both in north and south. I'm aware that multiple agencies are seeing restored phone service. We're working to continue to see improved access to our agencies, both through internet and phone services. I want you to be aware that continued communications on this event will be present in a one-stop place through the Office of Emergency Management's website. That website will go live later this evening, and we will share that information with our media partners so you can distribute that as well. Any communications regarding to the event in the past and future will be housed on that, as well as any information, contact information or directory lists that are necessary to ensure that Nevadans can reach customer-facing state agencies going forward. So with that being said, we'll move to questions. Since Tim Galuzzi provided a comprehensive report of all the fact-based information that we have available, we will not take any questions on the nature or continued efforts to figure out what's happening with the cyber incidents itself, but we will take all communications or questions related to our efforts to improve the customer-facing environment that state agencies can provide as we go through this process.
Chief Ryan Cherry, thank you so much. We did have one specific request. If Tim Robb could provide some comments. We do have some folks that are scooting out to record their 5 o'clocks, if that's okay, and then we can take questions. While Tim is coming up to the table, once we take questions, just if I can get your name and you can introduce yourself and your network, that'd be great. Thanks.
So really, I just gave an overview of what the press conference was. I'm Tim Robb. I'm the Governor's Homeland Security Advisor. I do want to appreciate all of the people that have worked really hard to restore the systems that have been able to get there so far. And I look forward to seeing additional things come online as the Governor's Technology Office and our state entities work together to get all of the vital services back up to the state of Nevada. It's important to know that we are here, we are Nevadans, we want to play a role in getting your services that you require from the state up and running effectively and efficiently. So I think with that, that's about all that I have.
Thanks, Tim. I think we have channel 3 now with our first question.
Hello, Tiffany Lane with KTNV Las Vegas. So my question is, we're hearing a lot of concern from people at the DMV. Is there any guidance being provided to law enforcement about how to approach citations for things that they're not able to get done? And then also, what about people who have flights who don't have real IDs? Is there any way to work around any of these?
Thank you for the question. Tanya Laney, Director of the Nevada DMV. We are working with our law enforcement partners. We are staying in regular communication to let them know the status of our agency. We are asking them for leniency for any individuals that have expiring registrations, driver's license, or identifications during the outage period. In addressing the real ID question, if individuals are trying to access the DMV to get a real ID for travel, the Transportation Security Administration will accept the same documentation that the DMV will to verify those individuals to allow them to fly. Our recommendation to those customers would be to please show up to the airport a little bit earlier so that you can go through that process to be verified to be able to catch your flights until we can assist you when we go back to regular operations.
Thanks, Director Laney.
Hi, I'm Victoria with Fox 5. As you know, we missed a large portion of this press conference. I wanted to ask, by the time you noticed there was a threat Sunday, how far did these bad actors get when it came to accessing state data? What exactly did they get away with?
This is Tim Bougie, State CIO and Executive Director of the Governor's Technology Office. Unfortunately, because the situation is still currently under investigation, I can't necessarily answer the specifics of that. I will say that as soon as it was identified as a cybersecurity incident, we moved rapidly to isolate the environment.
Thanks, Tim.
Hi there, this is Cal Schnell with the Las Vegas Sun. Talking about law enforcement agencies, is the Governor's Office aware of any disruptions for the state's law enforcement agencies in conducting their work and connecting to national databases that they use for their work?
This is Tim Robb with the Governor's Homeland Security Advisor. I would say yes, we are aware of the challenges that we've had with connecting with different agencies and databases that our law enforcement partners use every day. We've been working on many of the pathways that we can use and leverage to get access to that data on a timely basis, and we'll continue to work with our partners to get those systems back up online and effective and efficient as they can be as soon as possible. Our law enforcement partners are obviously a very key piece to keeping Nevadans safe, and we want to make sure they have the information they need to do their job appropriately.
Thanks, Tim.
Hi, it's Jessica Hill with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Thanks so much for holding this conference. 2 quick questions, if I may. Is there an estimated timeline for restoration of full state services right now? It might be too early to tell. And then second, are there any communication issues with NDOC and mental health hospitals?
This is Tim Galuzzi, State Chief Information Officer. I cannot begin to estimate what the restoration timeline looks like at this point because of the ongoing investigation and the complexity of the of that engagement.
This is Richard Whitley, the Director for the Department of Human Services. We operate state facilities for both children and adults. Ross and Neal, D.V. Townsend hospitals, Desert Willow for children. There has been no disruption in those services. Some mechanical systems have had to be manually operated, locked facilities, for example, so relying more on staff to operate them, but there's been no disruption in the hospitals themselves and the care to the patients.
Hi,
Thanks, directors.
Hello, this is Giovanni Carrillo with Channel 13. Do you know how exactly these cyber criminals were able to get inside the system? And have they reached out to any state officials, and if they've also asked for any ransom or money or anything like that?
Yeah, due to the nature of the event right now, we can't comment on any of those questions. We're still trying to verify the information, the impact of the event itself. So that timeline for providing any of those informations is, we can't give you an answer on that right now. I did want to go back to Ms. Hill's question on NDOC to make sure that we had done that. We have been engaged in communications on a daily basis with Director Zarenda of NDOC. There was very limited impact to NDOC's environment. So public safety and inmate safety is, not a concern at this point in time. So I want to make sure that that's clear.
Thanks, Chief.
This is Hugh Jackson with Nevada Current. A couple of questions. The first one is, have you developed any kind of theories or anything you could share about why Nevada this happens to us and not Utah or Idaho or whatever? And then secondly, Ryan Sherry, I didn't hear it when you were discussing it, but could you please explain again, where's the governor?
As it relates to your first question, we've been spending our time in addressing the issues at hand in front of us, not speculating as to the nature of the event. I think that'd be impertinent to do at this point in time when we're trying to figure out what has actually happened. As it relates to the governor's involvement in this matter, he is getting regular hourly updates from staff in his office internally. He is engaged, providing direction on this. He just wasn't able to participate in this press conference.
Thanks, Chief.
And I'll be clear that his absence in this press conference is not indicative of any lack of engagement at all. That is not the case. We are making sure that he is up to speed and he is providing guidance to us on what he would like to see done in terms of addressing the customer-facing services that Nevadans so desperately need on a daily basis that are impacted by this event.
Thank you. This is Una Milliken with the Nevada Independent. There was a security incident over the weekend in Maryland against their train system. Do you guys know if this is an isolated incident in Nevada, or is there any connection to the incident in Maryland?
We can't begin to speculate on any connection at this point in time. We're still trying to determine individual impacts to the state at this point.
But there hasn't been any other security breaches in other states of this nature?
We can't speculate as to what breaches are happening here. That's not in our ability to tell you at this point in time.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hi all, thank you. This is McKenna Ross with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I just wanted to get a little bit of clarity on the director's comments regarding the data that was exfiltrated. He mentioned some data was exfiltrated. Does that conflict with previous statements made from the state that said at this time personally identifiable information was not taken from these actors?
This is Tim Gluzzi, Director of DTO. So as this situation progresses and our partners that are assisting us with the ongoing forensic investigation, more information is made available to us and the situation becomes more clear as we move through the fog. And that's how this information was made available to us. We just recently discovered that an unknown type of data was exfiltrated from our environment. We cannot begin to an assessment on what that data type was, and that's why that was included in our remarks, because we wanted to embrace transparency with Nevadans. That data was exfiltrated, but we are unable to quantify what that data type was, but we wanted to ensure that we were transparent that data was removed from the state infrastructure.
Thank you. Just one follow-up. Can you at all explain how it was determined? You know, you said move through the fog, so is there any way you can specify how
I
that
can't give those
information
details at this point.
Okay.
I can't divulge that information at this point.
Thanks.
Hi, Kyle Schnarr, Las Vegas Sun again. Just to follow up on the last question, you mentioned only recently learning about that data being taken off the state servers. When exactly was that? Was that earlier this morning or this afternoon? Just would want to get more specific timing on that.
That timeline was late yesterday.
To add to that, we continue to work with our partners to verify that information, to know quantity, know what that information may have been, and we'll have more information to follow, but that is still being evaluated.
What time yesterday?
Late yesterday, like night.
Okay.
Not seeing any questions, but
Right.
Here we go.
Hello, Giovanni Carrillo with Channel 13 one more time. What steps are being taken to prevent further incidents like these to happen again? And also, is there any indication that these cyber criminals are linked to the hack that happened at MGM or Caesars?
This is Tim Lewis. Due to the ongoing and dynamic nature of this current incident, I can't divulge the steps that we're actively pursuing to secure our environment. And so that's all I can necessarily say about that.
Hi, Jessica Hill with RJ again. Do you have any guidance for Nevada residents about what they should be doing right now, protecting their data? Any information you can provide on that?
Yes, absolutely. So as a general practice, practicing safe password hygiene, making sure that passwords are complex and not reused across multiple systems. That is always the best practice to make sure that we are not sharing passwords with folks. That is always the best practice with and just practicing good cyber hygiene, making sure that your systems and home computers stay up to date. There is plenty of great educational material that is offered for free for training on good cyber awareness, and we would always recommend that people stay up to date on the best cybersecurity awareness that is out there. And so just stay cyber aware. We spend a lot of our lives in the cyber world transacting very important components of our daily lives, whether it be banking or communicating, using computers. So it's really important that we try to secure that component of our lives. So stay cyber aware, be educated, and protect yourselves.
Victoria here with Fox 5 again. A couple different questions here. Oh, I'm back. No, I'm not. I broke it. No, you're good. Okay. Sorry, guys.
sorry, hold on 1 second while we switch mics.
The audio, we lost your audio. We lose our mic.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back.
We can hear you now.
Sorry, you would think I would know how to handle a microphone. Would a service contract from a third-party DMV stating the driver is in the process of registering their vehicle and just waiting on the DMV help prevent a citation?
I think I understood your question. Were you asking if a third party was assisting with the registration, but that has not yet been complete? Would proof of that beginning of that transaction prevent a citation?
Along those lines, yes, because we did see from other third-party DMV services that they've seen an influx of people coming to their doors.
Got it. Yes. I mean, we recommend any customers, whether they're using a DMV service, attempting to use the DMV service directly and they've not been able to make it in because the appointments are canceled, or if they're using a third party to try and get those transactions done, that they keep whatever paperwork that they have in their possession to present to law enforcement upon engagement. And we have asked law enforcement for leniency on any customers that are impacted during the outage period.
I've also heard from other jurisdictions and local law enforcement, this is impacting, obviously. They can't tell if the person they pull over might have an out-of-state warrant. How is this impacting those who need to be on law enforcement radar?
Tim Robb, Governor Lombardo's Homeland Security Advisor. We are working with our law enforcement partners to make sure that they have access to all the information they need. There have been some connectivity processes that we've been able to establish to get access to some of that information, and we continue to make progress to getting access as business as usual as well, and should see some of those systems come back online as we continue to make progress in our recovery.
This is Giovanni Carrillo with Channel 13 again. We've spoken with a lot of people from the welfare office who say that they can't access their benefits. What is available to them if they find themselves in a similar situation?
This is Richard Whitley, Director of Department of Human Services. We did include in our packet for the press the addresses of all of our social service offices. They're fully staffed, and the phone numbers on there are working, and the staff will navigate them through whether they come in person. Right now, it's new applicants because of the connectivity challenges. So programs like SNAP, commonly referred to as food stamps, are one of the biggest ones that people show up to the office and wanting to make application for. That is delayed, and customers are being informed. They're doing a paper application, getting the required documentation so that staff can enter that and submit, and the customer does not have to return. We're working through this week. There's been no delay in benefits so far for those existing consumers. We're working through because we have a third-party vendor who wants assurances from us that our system, would not do any harm in transferring the data, so that, as you may know, SNAP, food stamps, the benefits come on an electronic benefit card that the customer can use in the store. That comes from the federal government, and so the communication to the feds to upload those benefits, we're working to actually ensure that that data can be uploaded safely and doesn't do harm, and we are committed to not have a delay in any benefits. The delay, just to be clear, would be on the front end of eligibility at this time, delay in submitting and confirming the eligibility. Our social service staff are referring people to other food support programs, other support programs from our office, as they do routinely. And so on the benefits, that would be my response. WIC, which is another USDA funded program, operationalizes differently. It's embedded in the community and clinics, and it has had no disruption. You know, sometimes those food benefit programs serve the entire family, and so they are experiencing some different levels of service, particularly those in need right now. None in WIC, some delays in application with SNAP. We're working hard to avoid any delay in existing clients with access to their benefits.
So one quick follow-up. I did try to call the phone number that was given to clients yesterday, but I did not get a response. It just said to try again the next day. Is there a workaround around that?
There are multiple ways, but I did provide a handout that actually does have working numbers on it for each of the offices. We also, 211 is a helpline in our state of Nevada that is operated by an external organization, and we are keeping them apprised to navigate. So, with the public accessing your TV and newspapers, it would be helpful to convey 211 and then the office location and numbers, because every consumer's need is different, and so what has priority is what you need for your family, and so each of those programs are on the handout, whether it's child support, SNAP, temporary assistance for needy families, which is actually direct financial support. They all have different applications and they all have different benefits, but I think that would be the best message to the public. And short of that, the offices are open because many of the staff are not able to do the electronic data entry at this time. We have it offers us an enhanced public service to actually help fill out paper applications and be ready, and then to redirect people who might have an immediate need.
Thanks, Director. I want to be sensitive to everyone's time. We probably have time for one more question, but I'm not seeing any hands. Okay, great. Thank you.